After 37 days, a strike called by employees of Samsung's Sriperumbudur plant just outside Chennai is all set to end. The latest that we are picking up is that these employees who have been on strike from 9th of September will return to their workstations at the plant on October 17th. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's give you the lowdown in terms of what prompted the strike in the first place and how it eventually ended. On the 9th of September, nearly 1,000 employees of Samsung's electronics plant in Sriperumbudur decided to sit in on a strike. These employees demanded a wage hike of up to 11,000 rupees per month and recognition of the Samsung India Workers Union, the chief union that looked into the interests of employees at this plant. They also demanded a reduction in work timings for all employees at the plant itself. In response, Samsung stoically refused to recognize the union but agreed to talks with these employees at the Deputy Commissionerate of Labour in Sriperumbudur itself. This of course continued till September 12th with no headway really on these talks until of course the Tamil Nadu government decided to intervene lest this strike should dent the image of the state as an investment destination. Pursuant to this decision, the talks were led by Tamil Nadu's Minister for Labour, C.V. Ganesan, who was accompanied by his colleagues from Cabinet, that's E.V. Velu, T.R.B. Raja, who is of course the Industries Minister, and T. Anbarasan. These ministers held multiple talks with both Samsung and these employees on strike, which continued well into early October, with not much headway at least being mentioned of while these talks were being held. This of course came to a conclusion, even if temporarily so, on October 7th, when Samsung made the first few steps towards placating these employees, in fact even drafting an agreement with an unnamed workmen committee which promised a few benefits to these employees. Firstly, a wage increase of up to 5,000 rupees per month, benefits like meal allowances, a life insurance scheme and paternity leave to each of these employees that had drafted this agreement with. However, Samsung continued to stoically refuse to acknowledge or recognize the Samsung India Workers Union and didn't quite agree to that 11,000 rupee wage demand that workers on strike were making through the course of the strike itself. Some employees, were told, then decided to end their strike and resume work, even as a larger section, backed by the Centre of India Trade Unions or CITU, continued to sit on strike. This of course came to a conclusion on October 15th, when the Tamil Nadu government announced that it had finally brokered peace between Samsung and all of its employees on strike. The 4-point resolution that both parties agreed to included a speedy return, or an immediate return rather, of employees on strike to work at Samsung. It also called on Samsung to not punish these employees for choosing to go on strike in the first place. It behooved these employees to not engage in more activities detrimental to the interests of the South Korean electronics giant. It also called on Samsung to look into interests of these employees at the plant in the near future, even asking them to draft a written response to the charter of demands made by these employees in the first place. And just like that, a 37-day-long affair by way of a strike itself is all set to end, even as it's business as usual come October 17th at Samsung's Sriperumbudur unit.
Hey, thank you for watching this on CNBC-TV18. Hope you liked it. For more such interesting news and updates, follow CNBC-TV18 on all the social media platforms.